Hi friends, welcome to our channel. Today we are going to discuss about types of neuron. As we all know, neurons are the basic functional unit of nervous system. Nervous system is one of the coordinating and controlling parts of our body, and it consists of brain, spinal cord and nerves. All these three parts are composed of neurons. The neurons, otherwise known as nerve cells, they are the workhorse of nervous system. They work by generating and conducting action potential. That means they work by generating and conducting impulses. A typical neuron consists of three regions: a dendric region, somatic region and an axonic region. Dendric region consists of dendron and dendrites. They are the projections from the soma or cell body. And a somatic region consists of the soma. The soma means the cell body. It contains all the typical organelles of any cells. The cell organelles are endoplasmic reticulum, Golgi complex, mitochondria, lysosome, nucleus, etc. The another part is axonic region. Axonic region consists of axon. The longest part of the neuron is axon, and the tip of the axon is branched like the tree, and the branches are known as axonites. The tip of the axonites is called synaptic knob or the terminal button. Neurons exhibit many different forms. They are possible to classify neurons using either structural or functional criteria. Thus, the functional role of a given neuron is depend on its structure. The functional role of given neurons, any neuron's structure is depend on its function, and functional role of a given neuron is depend on its structure. Let us see the classification of the neurons. At first, we can discuss about the neurons based on their structural basis. On the structural basis, we can classify the neurons into four types, that is mainly based on the number and placement of axon. The structural basis means the number of axon and the placement of axon, as well as the placement of cell body. Based on this structural basis, we can classify the neurons into four. They are unipolar neuron, bipolar neuron, multipolar neuron and pseudo-unipolar neuron. This is the diagram which contains all the four types of neurons. We can easily understand the structural peculiarities and structural differences between these four neurons. The first one is unipolar, second one is bipolar, third one is pseudo-unipolar and fourth one is multipolar. We can discuss firstly unipolar neurons. Unipolar neurons have only one structure that extends away from the cell body. Here this is the cell body. From here one structure is extended towards its from its left side, that is the axon. From this axon we can see the origination of dendrites. And this kind of neurons, the unipolar neurons, are not found in vertebrates. It's exclusively present in invertebrates. For example, the unipolar neurons found in insects where they stimulate muscles and glands. The second one is bipolar neuron. Bipolar neuron has one axon and one dendrite extending from soma. Here this is the soma, and we can see two extension from the soma to its left side and to its right side. At its left side we can see axon, and at its right side we can see dendrites. Here the axon tip, that means the axonites or the presynaptic terminus, is connected to CNS, that means central nervous system. The typical example of bipolar neuron is the retinal bipolar cell, which is present in our eyes, which receives signals from the photoreceptor cells that are sensitive to light and transmit these signals to ganglion cells and that carry to the brain. The third one is the multipolar neurons. Multipolar neurons are the most common type of neurons. It consists of one axon and multiple dendrites. Here we can see the soma. From this soma, so many dendrites were originated, and at the left side of the soma we can see the axon. Axon is the most lengthy one. And the example of the multipolar neuron is the Purkinje cells. The Purkinje cells are present in cerebellum, which has many branching dendrites and only one axon. Multipolar neurons can be found in spinal nervous system. That means multipolar neurons are common in brain and spinal cord. The last one is pseudo-unipolar neuron. Pseudo-unipolar neuron consists both the characters of unipolar cell and bipolar cell. The unipolar cell character is it has a single structure that extends from soma, and the bipolar cell's character is branches into. Later this single structure branches into two distinct structure. Here we can see a small extension. This extension is divided into two, towards its right side and towards its left side. At left side we can see and we can see axon, and its right side we can see dendrites, and which are connected to CNS, the central nervous system. Most sensory neurons are pseudo-unipolar. This pseudo-unipolar neuron have an axon that branches into two extensions, one connected to dendrites and that receives sensory information, and another that transmit this information to spinal cord. Here we explained already. And another kind of classification is based on direction of impulses. There are three major types of neurons. First one, sensory neurons, motor neurons, and interneurons. Let us talk about sensory neurons. Sensory neurons are responsible for converting external stimuli from environment into corresponding internal stimuli. That means these sensory neurons carry impulses from the sensory receptors which are found all over the body to central nervous system. That means to brain and spinal cord. A sensory neuron has the same basic structure as that of motor neuron, but it has a long dendrite and an axon which is shorter than dendrite. Here this is the sensory neuron. Here we can see the axon and the dendrite. Here this is the cell body. Most of the sensory neurons are pseudo-unipolar. Here we can see a small axon, and that axon is divided into two. The stimuli which can be sensed by the sensory neurons are both physical stimulus and chemical stimulus. Physical stimulus means visible light, sound, heat, physical contact, etc. The chemical signals are smell and taste. The next one is motor neurons. Motor neurons are also located in central nervous system. It carries impulses from the central nervous system to effector organs or to the all over the body such as muscles or glands. A motor neuron has usually a large cell body with numerous short dendrites and a long single axon. Here we can see numerous dendrites and a lengthy axon. This red colored one is the motor neuron. The interface between a motor neuron and a muscle fiber is specialized synapse that is called neuromuscular junction. And the structure of motor neuron is multipolar. The last one is interneuron. Interneuron are neither sensory nor motor. They act as middlemen that form connection between other two types. Here we can see interneuron which connect sensory neuron and motor neuron. That's why it called by the name middlemen. It is located in CNS which they operate locally, meaning their axons connected only with nearby sensory or motor neurons. Interneurons can save time and therefore prevent injury by sending messages to spinal cord and back instead of all the way to the brain. Like motor neurons, they are also multipolar in structure. So, here we conclude this section. I hope you all understand. Comment about your opinion and suggestion. Thank you.